Hey guys, this tutorial is probably the most important one of all. This is going to be how to edit an existing page, add a new page, and then editing things like posts, upcoming races, those sorts of things. So this is going to be kind of the central thing that you're going to be doing on your website. So let's jump in and do it. You have to be logged in, obviously. There's a few different options for us here. So first and foremost, you'll see that there's this new tab, this new drop down over here, and it's got an option for all the different things that we can load to the website. A new post, which will go in our news story, some new media if you want to upload an image just on its own, a new page, new template, new upcoming race, and a new slider. The other option is for us to go into the section that we want to go and work with, so either posts, upcoming races, or pages. If we click on pages, you'll see here's a list of our existing pages, and up at the top by the heading, add new. So that's how you're going to add a new one. First of all, let's see what it looks like to edit a page. On our list here, you can see each of these pages has a designation after the page title, which explains which editors are being used for that page. So the classic editor is the standard WordPress editor. We've got another editor known as the block editor. That's WordPress's newest editor. I don't really like that one, so we're not going to cover that. We've got the classic editor, which is a nice plain and simple editor, and then right at the end here you'll see edit with Elementor. That gives you the option to create a more complex page layout. You know, if you want something with columns and images here and there and different widgets, things like icons and star ratings and all sorts of things like that, image sliders, it gives you the freedom to be able to build a page exactly like you want it. What we're going to do first is we're going to edit a page and just see how that works, and then we're going to get into some more advanced layout with the Elementor editor. We can click on the About Us page, or we can click straight into the Edit Classic editor. We're going to do that, and you can see here there's the text. If we had to switch to our logged out view and we see About Us, that's the text there. Just a small note. In your dashboard, when you're editing, the font and the look of the page headings and that sort of thing is slightly different. Don't worry about that. The theme handles all the styling of the font choices, all of that sort of thing. So if we had to choose a heading 2 here and update this and refresh, you'll see that there's what the heading 2 looks like in this particular theme. A little bit different how it looks there, but this is really nice and easy for us to see what's going on. We can see that's a big heading, here's some text, whatever the case is. If you wanted to do just some basic text edits, you could do that. You could write some new information in there, you could add something new, there we go, and then you just click update. When it says page updated up at the top here, we can switch to our other view, refresh this page, and there we go, you can see the text has been added. Let's do something a little bit more special. We're going to add an image. So what we do is we put our cursor exactly where we want the image to be. So let's click at the beginning of this first paragraph, and we're going to click Add Media. Now we could choose one of the images we've already uploaded, or we can upload a new one. So let's go upload something new. Let's choose something like our blinking meme guy. Here he is here. Again, alt text, always fill in the alt text, the title and the description, and then we insert into page. And you can see there it's going to insert the image just as is, full size. You know, it's on the page, but it's a bit sloppy, doesn't look great. So if we refresh here, you'll see it's going to be taking up a lot of space. It's on the same line as this text, and then the text looks odd. So that's not great, that's not a good option. That's a little weird. Our options are we can either just press enter after this so that this image is on its own line like this. That's not very good either. So what we're going to do is if we click on the image, you'll see we've got some alignment options. These are just some basics. We can choose to align left, which is going to float this image to the left and have the rest of the text appear on the right. That's already looking better, but what we really want is this image to not be so huge. So we can grab one of these bars at the bottom here, one of these little blocks on the edges, and we can drag it to a size that looks good for us. That's a bit better. It feels like it fits in with the size of the text on this page. So let's update that. And let's have a look what we've got here. That's already looking better, you know. Let's change this to align to the right. See how that looks? That might be a bit better for us. There we go. That does actually look a bit better. So we're happy with that. That's a nice simple page, a little bit of text and an image. All right, so one more thing we need to cover about pages is that every time you save a page, it creates a new revision in WordPress. So if we scroll to the bottom, you can see down here, it gives you a list of all the revisions that have been made on this page. And you can actually go and browse through them. So you could choose 2 seconds ago, 14 seconds ago, 1 minute ago. So let's roll back to 1 minute ago. You can see that's when we added our image. Let's go back further and further still. And then we can choose restore this revision. If we choose that, you can see that's back to where we were before we started. So you can always move backwards and forwards. If you land on a page like this and you can't see this revisions at the very bottom, you'll choose screen options up at the top here. And in these boxes, you just look through here, there it is, revisions. So you just make sure that one's ticked, and then it will pop up down here and you'll be able to go through and choose the revision if you made a mistake or you want to go back. But now let's say we want something a little bit better on this page than just an image to one side and some text, you know. What if we want this page to be really nice and flashy? What you're going to do then is you're going to use the Edit with Elementor. There's a big button up here, so we can click Edit with Elementor, and that's going to switch this to the Elementor editor. And you can see this looks straight off the bat like a lot more like it does to the end user, because this allows us to edit in a more direct way. The big trick with editing a page like this is that you don't want to just jump in head first with no real plan, because what you want to do is, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to first establish the structure of your page, and then you're going to put in blocks of content. So if you go off without really any plan, it's going to be a mess, it's going to be frustrating. So what I like to do is, at least in my mind, get an idea of what I want the page to look like. But even better, just jot it down on a piece of paper. You know, this doesn't have to be a work of art, but let's just say we want our heading, and then we want a few lines of text, and maybe then we want to see two sort of areas here where we've got a picture and let's say an icon, where we've got a nice little icon here and some text and some information about it. And then below that, we want to put a section of 3 columns, let's say. So we've got one section that's just a paragraph of text. Then we've got another little image over there. And let's say we have something like a contact form. Let's put a contact form in this last thing here. So we've got our little form. And you can see here, this is nothing special, you know. This is just going to clarify for me what I want to do on this page. So I can see here straight away that I'll need one section that's a full width, and then I'll need another section that's got 2 columns, and then a last section that's got 3. So that already gives us a clarity on where we want to go with this page. So you'll see when you hover over this first section, it highlights it with a little border and a little 9-grid button there, which allows us to edit this. We can drag it around, that sort of thing. And below, we've got this pink little button that says Add New Section. That's what we want to do. We want to add a new section. And remembering our layout that we chose, we want a 2-section first. There it is there with our 2 columns. And then we're going to go ahead and add our 3 sections straight away, because now we know, okay, we've got our 1 section, 2 columns, and then 3 columns. Now it's just a case of dropping in the items that we want. So in our first one here, we said we want an image. So if we click this little plus here, it comes up with all the widgets. You can reach these by pushing this little 9-grid button up at the top right of this panel. And you can see in here, there's all sorts of nice options for us. There's headings, images, text editor, there's a video there, dividers, spaces, icons, maps. image boxes. So these ones down here are quite nice because icon box, image box, it's like a little pre-laid out little section for you, and you just need to change the image and the text, and you've got a nice little layout. You know, you've got lists here, galleries, counters that count up numbers, things like that, progress bars, all very cool options. What we're going to do is we want an image in this first one. So we're going to drag this, and you can see it'll highlight with a little blue band where it's going to be dropping. So we want an image there, and it puts a placeholder, and then we hit our little 9 grid up here, and we said we wanted an icon box. So we're going to drag that guy in there. And you can see straight away it's put it in here with a little icon, a heading, and some text. So let's deal with our image first. We can replace this image with a proper one. We could choose our blinking meme man here. We could choose that if we wanted. Let's choose something different. Let's upload a new one. Let's choose Baby Yoda, because Baby Yoda. And we replace the title and the description. There he is there, nice little Baby Yoda. We can grab this little center column and we can drag so that one column is bigger than the other one. And you'll see the image just resizes to full, which is quite cool. So let's do something like that. There we go. Onto our side over here, if you click on this icon box, we'll be able to change the icon. Let's choose something like nice thumbs up. There we go. And you'll see view default, we can choose this either stacked or framed, and that just changes how the icon's going to be presented. Stacked puts it in a solid little circle, and framed gives it an outline, and we can choose between square and circle. So let's give it a solid circle. That looks quite nice, and we give it a nice heading. Thumbs up. And then this is just some placeholder text. We can put whatever we want to here, but let's leave, that's a great Baby Yoda. Okay, so there we go. Our first section is complete. We've done that. There we go, looking good. Next, we wanted to have a section of text, so we're going to drop a text editor in here. There he is there, and you'll see this looks exactly like the text editor that we had when we edited it as a normal one. You can drag this panel a little bit wider if you like, so you can drag there so you got a bit more space. You can replace this text, you can put something more there. Let's just do that. We'll leave it as it is. That looks good. Maybe we want to bold something. Do whatever we want to there. That's great. Next up, we wanted a picture in this middle one, so let's drag another image here. Image, let's upload one more picture. Let's choose Nicolas Cage, because why not? Nick Cage. There we go. We throw him in there. He's a little bit intense, so let's make him a bit smaller. There we go. Now our last one was a bit of a challenge. We said we wanted a contact form. Now the way it works to drop a contact form in here is we're going to use a feature called short code. And here it is here. We drag our short code block in there, and it just gives us a space for us to type in a short code. Now we're going to get the short code from the contact form section. So let's save this page as is. Down at the bottom here, we're going to click update. And up along the top here, it shows a little green bar that shows it's saving. And then if we choose this hamburger menu in the top left, we can go to view the page, or we can exit to dashboard. We view the page, we can see how we're looking. Looking good so far. We've got our title text, we've got our first long section, we've got our 2-column section, and then our 3-column section. Let's go get that short code for the contact form. We're going to go to our dashboard and then contact. Here's our contact forms, and you can see straight away on this list it shows the short code in the 2nd column. So we're going to right click this and we're going to copy this, copy our short code. Then we're going to go back to pages, and we're going to edit with Elementor on About Us. Now we're back to where we were, and here's our short code, and we're going to right click and paste. You can see straight away it drops the contact form in for us. We can hit apply and update, bottom right. There it is, it's saving. Now we go back here and hit F5 to refresh. Look at that, that's looking great. Our form's looking a little bit spare because there's nothing really explaining what's going on. So let's go back there and we're going to hit our 9 grid here and we're going to drag in a heading and go back to our 9 grid. Let's put some text below Nicolas Cage here and let's say Nicolas, hit the wrong key, Cage says you should fill in the form to the right. And our heading is contact us. We can choose what size heading we want. Heading 2 is quite a big one. Heading 6 is a tiny one. Goes down in size like that. You can choose heading 1, but I recommend you don't ever use heading 1 anywhere. On a web page, Google wants to see only one heading 1 tag, and that'll be this very first one on the page, about us. That helps them understand what this page is about, what the topic of this page as a whole is. If you've got more than one heading 1, it confuses the issue and it's not great. So rather go from heading 2 downwards, heading 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can use those. You could even just use a paragraph and then it's just plain text. But we're going to choose a heading. Let's go with heading 4. That's not too big, not too small. We hit update, switch back to our live view and refresh. There we go. Nicolas Cage says you should fill in the form on the right. There's our contact heading. And that's looking pretty good. The last thing I want to do is I want to add just a little bit of motion to this page. Just a bit of animation just to spice it up a bit. Now, you can go to town and animate every single thing on a page, but I really recommend you don't because people are going to hate it. It's best to go with something subtle. So on this one, I think what would really draw people's attention is if maybe just these 2 sections in the middle, if they just animated in one from the one side, one from the other. So let's do that. Click on Baby Yoda over here. And you can see here, there's an advanced tab with a little gear. We click on that, scroll down, motion effects. Now we want him to come in from the side. So we're going to choose fade in left. There we go, gives us a little demonstration. You could do them both sort of coming from the middle, but I think it'll be nice if one comes in from this side. And thumbs up, we click on thumbs up, advanced motion effects. Let's bring him in from the right. There we go. That's looking pretty cool. Let's update that. And then once that's saved, let's refresh this page, see what it's looking like. There we go. Nice and simple. We've done a few clicks and our web page has gone from quite a bland page to something that's quite decent, you know. Only thing that I don't like about this, I would like a bit more space between these two. So let's add in one more section. We're going to add a full width section with a horizontal line in it, a divider. So let's do that. We're going to click down here and we're going to add a section. And then we're going to grab this blue thing here and we're going to drag it up and you can see that's where it wants to drop it. There we go, nice. Click the plus sign and we're going to choose, we're going to add a spacer in and then 9 grid, we're going to hit a divider in there. And then we're going to hit it again and hit another spacer. So now we've got a space, a line, and a space. We can set the height of these. 50 is a bit big, so let's just make these 10. And this one will make it 10 as well. And then this solid line, we could choose center and we can make it slightly less than a full width. So we could make it a full line like that, or we could make it just sort of 70% width. That's quite nice. There are some options here. We could add some text to it in the middle. We could add an icon. You know, if you want to, you can do that. Let's say more info. You know, it's not bad. It's an option. Let's do that. That looks pretty cool. Under style, we could choose the color. So let's choose red. Why not? And the text, we can choose. Let's choose the same color. So we'll go and highlight this hex code down here, and then we're going to paste it in there with the color here. Paste. Now it's the same color. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Let's update that. Saving. and it's saved. Refresh, let's see how we're looking now. That looks way better. Now there's a little bit of space between these two sections, just feels a bit more sensible. And that is editing a page. So that basic principle is how you are going to, that's how you're going to edit any page on your website. A nice way to work about this is that you could just click through and go to a specific page. You could go to a news story, welcome to our website, and you can click edit post up here, and there it is there. This is the info about our welcome. And let's paste that a few times, fill out this page a bit, update that, view post, and you can see, there we go. Now with a news story, you'll see that it's got a featured image above and then the text. That featured image you change down here. So let's choose this guy. He looks pretty cool. There we go. And we'll update. There he is there. When we view the post, there it is, new image, some text. Nice and simple. Okay, and that is how you edit a page on your website. Thanks so much for watching, guys. The next one, we'll cover some more in detail. Let's get into menus, changing your menu structure at the top here, all of that sort of thing. Thanks so much, guys. Cheers.